The Thames next, Twickenham Rowing Club, you can see. To the left, they are ready. Cox for Royal Chester Rowing Club taking a little bit longer to get the boat under control. Now they're happy and off they go. Sarah Armstrong in the Cox seat for Royal Chester. The boat on the right of your picture. And they've darted out, really lively.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I just saw Twickenham going out the blocks there. They had a bit of a what I would say is a tricky stroke. It looked like the stroke man or maybe the six man had caught what we call catching a crab, where your blade gets stuck in the water and you have to dig it out. That definitely doesn't make life very easy as you're going out the blocks. It can create tension in the rest of the crew, and when you create that tension in your body, you don't then get into that flowing stride that's so helpful to get into that rhythm, which is really what you need to kind of relax and then be the most efficient. Physiological movement as you're in the boat. So yeah, that's not ideal to have straight out the blocks, but you know, these things happen in rowing.
And it's fascinating how you can park a problem like that and mentally get over it quickly enough. It hasn't happened here because Royal Chester, we said they darted out in comparison to Twickenham, who were sluggish and had that problem. And down the course we go to the live pictures, and Twickenham are just pouring on the pressure here. It's so difficult, isn't it? If you make a mistake early, the whole boat's going to be aware. Tension, definitely. There's no chance of relaxing and getting into any rhythm, and this is what happens potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, Royal Chester is a club with a lot of pedigree at the regatta over the years. It's a fantastic stretch of water. You know, up there in Chester.
The River Dee.
The River Dee. I remember spending a lot of time on the Dee many years ago, 1997, 1998. And when you have a great stretch of water like that, it means that you can row for the miles and miles, which means you can develop this fluid, rhythmical technique and really embed moving together as one. And what I really like about what Royal Chester are doing is you can see the legs really moving in unison, up and down, up and down. Their leg speed as they kind of take the stroke is down the same, you know, down the same. And that's not often something you see in these club crews. So I'm really, really impressed with their technique. I think they're rowing very well.
Yeah, Royal Chester, one of the oldest rowing clubs in the country, founded back in 1838. A little bit before your time.
Yeah, a little bit before my time. But I think it's similar time to Monkton Combe School, where I first took up my rank. So
another old club. And making a good fist of this. We've got the Royal Chester Rowing Club A boat on the water.
A lovely overhead shot here, Tim. You see that. What I like about what they're doing as well is they're sitting quite upright, which is one of the things that you see in a lot of the eights now. They're not overreaching at the front end with their arms. A very sort of direct, very, very leg-driven stroke there. So they're really taking advantage of the strongest muscles in the rowing stroke. That's your legs, that's your glutes, and then your back, and then your arms. So really, really punching the boat with their legs right at the front end of the stroke, and taking a really commanding lead here, Tim. I have to say, I'm really, really impressed with how they're rowing.
Henry McCarver in the stroke seat, setting the rhythm, and you've got Chris Sim, Fraser Morgan, Andrew Tudor, Edward Press, Alexander Bain, Peter Dean, and in the bow seat it's Thomas Rushton. That'll be moving on. They've got Sarah Armstrong in the Cox seat there, very experienced Cox. It's her 14th Henley Royal Regatta. It's the semi-finals in the Thames Cup. Cox for Wales. Sarah Armstrong, so she knows what she's about. She came to the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham as a volunteer. International Federation team member for Rugby Sevens as well. And she's an aquarium manager. She's very busy, isn't she, Sarah Armstrong? Yeah. Packs a lot in there.
Yeah, I mean, and she's got some experience. You know.
And you wouldn't muck with her because she's a former national level judo player.
Perhaps why the guys that sit in front of her are actually paying attention so much.
I wonder what she does in her spare time.
Yeah, row well, or I'll have you. But you know, we talked earlier, Tim. You know, okay, Royal Chester really very, very good crew in this event at the moment. I'm very impressed. But for Twickenham to be here today, rowing down this track, is still a special experience. and just to get here is a real privilege. The journey for every crew, every club, it's all different, and it's all relative to the level that you are at. And when you cross the finish line, if you feel, perhaps, you know, the result's going to be as it is that we see here, if you feel like you've done your absolute best, then you can kind of walk off the water, you know, proud. And I think that's the most important thing, I think, for all crews. If they feel like they've done their best, you know, then they can enjoy the rest of the regatta on the bank.
And for a club boat, as is Royal Chester, being able to drop the pace off, and for the last 300 or 400 metres of this race, they've been coasting, haven't they? Because they've done their work before that point. That must give them an advantage as they move into rounds later in the week.
Yeah, it can be, and sometimes it can be a hindrance, because it's you get a bit used to
bad habits.
Yeah, bad habits. Yeah.
Okay. Celebrations belonging to Royal Chester Rowing Club in the Thames Challenge Cup, beating Twickenham Rowing Club, who are moving over the line now. They had that early problem back at Temple Island, false stroke, very early in the race, and they never really recovered. So Royal Chester progress.